Good morning, Port Jervis, and welcome to the Port Center Spotlight Podcast. My name is Andrew Murata, host of the show here and proud member of Port Jervis School Community, along with another proud member. I'm still blown away here. My 24 years teaching here in Port Jervis School District, Mr. Mike Simmons.
Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Mike, thanks for coming to the show. Mike, again, longtime science teacher, Port Jervis High School, doing some great things now outside of school, but within our community. So we're going to talk about that. So thanks for coming on, Mike.
Absolutely, man. Happy to be here.
Yeah. So how are you feeling today? You got through the eclipse yesterday.
Did good. Didn't get to see much, but we were out there. We tried it.
I saw you running kind of while it was going on.
It was part of the workout yesterday.
Yeah, sure. Mike also, in addition to being a teacher here, runs the Burn the Ships CrossFit here in Port Jervis. Mike, let's start with your teaching here, 24 years. You look back on your career, starting, your classroom is right up across the way there, some highs and lows, but you look back 24 years teaching, what are some things that come to mind?
So you sent me a while back a couple of the questions that might come up. I kind of thought about, what I knew, if I knew now, what I knew then. Yeah. I think for me, a lot of it would be like, and it comes up a lot in like discussions nowadays, like the empathy piece about, I wish I were a little more, hey, these kids are coming to you and you really don't know what they're going through. And as a young teacher, you get out of the gates and you're excited to teach, but we didn't have a lot of instruction on what is coming to you from these homes, and especially from this area specifically. Like, you really don't know what these kids are going through. And I wish I had known that earlier on. Yeah. My standards have been the same. I think I've taught very, very similar throughout the years, but I really wish I knew better about what these kids were going through, what they're dealing with, because I think I would have made much better connections with them early on. Yeah.
And we learn by doing, right? We learn through our experiences and we change and we grow. Mm-hmm. But you've always been an incredible instructor. Your science detail, whether you have the textbook there or not, you know what you're doing. Tell me about your science background.
So I went to East Stroudsburg University. I ended up taking a lot of extra classes. I changed my major quite a bit throughout college, and I didn't know if I wanted to be a teacher. So I did end up getting the full biology degree. So when I graduated, it did take me 5 years, but I have two full degrees. I have the full biology degree and the full teaching degree. So I did have to take a bunch of extra classes before I left college. So that helped out quite a bit.
Well, it's important to be that content specialist too.
You got to know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and you could tell that instantly when you walk into your room.
Well, thank you.
You knew that. So you didn't know right away that you wanted to be a teacher, but did you always love science?
Very much so.
Yeah. What was that? As a kid, out hiking in the woods? What was it?
We were a big camping family. We didn't have a tremendous amount of money, but my dad would always take us places, and we camped a lot. So we were always outdoors and always had access to nature and all kinds of stuff. So it always liked that. And my dad was a big nature show guy when we were younger.
Yeah.
It's like, and when you had one television in the house, not like nowadays, like you watch whatever your parents watch. So
the dial,
the big wood one. Yeah, I was the remote. Change that to channel 3.
Mike, you also coached softball for a number of years. Your teams did quite well. We had a nice run there. Mm-hmm. You were in with Fagione and Casey, or where remind me of that.
I finished one full year, and then my following September, they were like, we need some young guys to coach. And John had approached me and he said, you're interested in coaching softball? I'm like, I'd love to coach. It's always something I would want to do. I had never played a bat or ball sport in my life, though.
So you didn't?
Of all the sports I played when I was a kid, I never played baseball. I never swung a bat. And that was a hard learning curve for me.
Wow.
But you learn early on, it's a lot about, is it X's and O's or Jimmy's and Joe's? So it was like really about, again, that relationship piece. And that ended up paying way more dividends than knowing when to steal second or anything like that. It was about whether or not the girls trusted you and liked you and had a good relationship, and it was great. It was a great experience.
Yeah,
something I always wanted to do.
The program was highly competitive. They still are now, but you had a great run while you were there.
John Fagione was awesome. Great guy to coach under, like tremendous technical ability, but again, really like great with the girls, and I learned a lot from him that translates into a lot probably still what I do with my CrossFit piece today and coaching and being out there and being in front of people.
Amazing how all these pieces of our lives come in and help us in different areas.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Wow. Mike, in addition to the science, right? You mentioned it. You teach at a high standard. You at a high level. You wanted 1,000% of the kids' attention. You know, if kids didn't turn things that you were on them, there was a strong sense of discipline in there with your kids. Where does that come from? You? Was it your folks? Was it when you went to school? Where does that sense of kind of responsibility today? You look like $1 million. You always wear a tie. I wanted to make sure I had a tie on because I knew Mike would have it on. But the ties it's something almost going away. But here you are, day after day. You show up, you wear a tie. You have a lot of discipline. Tell me about that.
I think it's just something, unfortunately, that from my background, it's something I learned the hard way. Because it's like, there's a guy out there you probably all heard of, Jocko Willink. It's discipline is freedom, and you learn it the hard way. That you set standards for yourself and keep them, and make steps going forward, or you don't. So I had to find that out a lot the hard way. I floundered quite a bit. My parents had me when they were very well. Nowadays, probably not older. My mom had me when she was 43. So I had some parents that were very much like laissez-faire, like you find this out on your own, and I found it out the hard way.
Wow.
So I made some interesting life choices, and I found out that that's not going to work for me. So I had to find it out the hard way. But once I did, I was like, all right, this is the way it has to be, because this is what works. It really is. Yeah.
You tie the science into that, and again, the discipline. He's very on time, very organized, all of those things. And you're at a point now, you're tremendously thriving, putting all these pieces together of your life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Things have seemed to click into place. So I'm very, very happy with where I'm at.
That science, that discipline, that focus has led you, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, but Mike and his wife, co-owners of Burn the Ships, CrossFit. You started across the river and brought it right back here to Port Jervis. This has been a tremendous journey for you. You have a tremendous following, very successful business. And it's not just a business. You are changing people's lives. You are impacting the community in such a way, in such a positive way, people's fitness, people's health, people's wellness. Tell me about this journey. Tell me about this idea of Burn the Ships and all of that.
So my journey started in 2014. So I was like, one summer, I told Heather, I was like, listen, I'd really like to try this CrossFit thing. And there was only one open that was around. It was in Goshen, New York. So I was traveling in the summer from Milford, PA to Goshen. It's about 50 minutes.
Yeah.
And then in the fall, when school came around, I'm like, I want to keep going. So I was going there and then driving past the school, going to Goshen and coming back. And then literally just, again, you talk about things that just click into place. Literally that fall, a guy opened a CrossFit in Milford. And I was like, oh, this is great. I'm passing by right in town. And then I started getting friendly with the guy, and he's like, do you want to coach? So from June to November, the guy opened, and by January 14, I was coaching.
Wow.
That was about 8 months in. And then about 2 years after that, we were kind of like, I started seeing some things and some habits of the guy I work for. I was like, this really isn't what this is for. It was more about like a bunch of guys, just like, it was much more of the, like, I don't want to use the term meathead gym, but it was very much like a bunch of guys who just wanted to do their own thing and weren't super interested in the client's journey and how much it could help them. So I came to Heather one day and I was like, listen, do you think we could do a better job than this? Because this is not what this is for. This is supposed to.
She was going with you. Sorry. She was going with you?
So I was doing it about a year, and she had started just about a year later.
Okay.
And then we were kind of all in. And that's kind of where that name came from. We're like, well, if we do this, like we're selling our soul. Like we're all in. Like this is it. So that's kind of where Burn the Ships came from. We're just like, burn the ships in the harbor. Like we're going full tilt.
Your kids must have been little. Yeah.
We had it. Yeah. So 2016, Nora was born. In 2017, we opened. So we had an 8-month-old.
Oh,
2 dogs.
Your son wasn't even born yet.
Nora was just born.
Okay.
The youngest was just born.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we just said, we can help so many more people. This is not what this is for. And we're like, okay, let's do it. And the place, again, something clicked into place. The place on the 3-lane over in PA opened up. And then we dove in. We tried to do it as tactfully and as faithfully as possible. We didn't go behind anybody's back. We just said, this is what we're doing. I didn't talk to people on the side and coerce people to leave. We just said, hey, this is what we're doing. This is what
Yeah.
we believe in.
Yeah.
You know, you make your own informed decision. And a couple of people came and a couple of people didn't, and caused some flack for us and a little bit of heartache, but that's the way it went. And 2017 we opened, and it's been seven years.
7 years. Wow.
Yeah.
Burn the Ships CrossFit.
Pretty
We're right
crazy.
here in Port now. What is that? What's the road?
Fowler.
Street. Yeah. Great spot down there. Again, you see the people out and about. Mike, did you learn more about the fitness aspect of it, or more of the business aspect of it? Tell me about the growth and the learning of running a business.
So that's I believe a lot in coaching. A lot of what I think that we do well as a CrossFit gym is the coaching piece. So when I had to stop coaching, I was 12 years in, and my daughter Emma was going to school. Well, we had a problem. So I'm like, I have to go be at a bus stop at 4:00 up in Pennsylvania. So I can't be down here in softball anymore. So I had to stop coaching. I always had missed it. So it kind of like one coaching career kind of linked into the other. But that I went to 2 business mentors. I went through 2 full, one like 6-month thing, and then 1 full year program to understand the business side of it. I was very well versed in coaching and making that hour good, but I really, the business side of it, I didn't know a whole lot about. And that was probably the steepest learning curve, was running a business and taxes and all just things that have to go with that, where I have a much better handle on now. But that was a tough adjustment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot
Still
of
got to
things.
keep the lights on. I mean, as much as you want to help people, and you could be well-meaning and well-intentioned,
Sure.
you have to charge a price that's appropriate and be able to keep the lights on and pay your coach as well and keep everybody happy. So that's important too.
Including being financially rewarded for your time and effort.
Correct. Yeah. It was a while before I took a salary. I'll tell you that much. So.
Yeah. Wow. Incredible here. If you're watching the show live, jump in and say hello. If you're a client or one of the people who attend there, do that. Mike, I know a number of people from the school district, employees here, are clients of yours and go there. But I've always heard about this like a cliquish, right? It's like this group all CrossFit, like I was curious. I know Joe Cardi got in, a bunch of our Justin Karam is in.
Yep.
Tell me about that mindset of the CrossFit.
I don't know how much that moniker is still part of it, but it has a stigma of being very cultish, and there was very early on. It was very like, if you were part of a CrossFit gym, it was like, oh, those people are crazy, and they're always on the ground, and they're always rolling around and making moaning
lifting
noises.
stuff.
Oh yeah, just doing. It's not so much anymore, but I do remember those days. We were in early enough to be a little part of the end piece of that. I think it's a little more widely accepted now. It's a fitness program, and it does X, Y, and Z, and this is why it works, and this is how it's functional and things like that. So it's very cool. Hi, Logan.
I hope you're in class, Logan. Mike, I've seen you teach 1,000 times. Again, the science, high level, the discipline, high level. I was in your class this year and just blown away. You have your fitness, you have this, but now you're teaching a class here, in the science field, but you could tell us more the name, but your knowledge of the nutrition, the protein, the muscle building. I was so much more healthier from being in your class. Incredible, the focus on the nutrition. So that is definitely part of the work you're doing, but now it's dipped into the work you're doing here at school.
Yeah. So one of the things that was part of the business mentoring program I kind of mentioned that we went to supplement your income, we started offering nutrition coaching. And it was nothing crazy. In Pennsylvania, like in New York, you don't have to be a certified nutritionist to offer nutrition advice. So for a nominal fee, we would go over, this is what you're doing, this is what we think you should be doing. So all right, so now this class gets dropped in my lap. So they're like, hey, we want to offer more electives. And they're like, would you want to teach this? And I'm like, I don't know, exercise science and sports nutrition. It's stuff I do anyway, so I'm super interested in it and I love it. So it was really, again, kismet. It kind of just lined up, and Louis Popolo kind of walked me through it. So Louis designed the class originally. So I kind of walked into a skeleton of a class. I didn't make it up from scratch out of nowhere. I had a nice framework to work from, and I was very thankful of how nice a job he did. And then it kind of just became its own thing. And I get to, we get to work out 3 days a week and put into practice what we learn in the classroom, and we have fun doing it. Maybe not my first period class. They're a little upset that I want to make them sweat that early in the morning, but I got a great group of kids, and I'm very thankful to be able to do the stuff that I like. I really, really do.
We were chatting a little bit
Vinny
off
Malzahn,
air.
I remember you.
Yeah.
What's up, buddy?
It's awesome. Yeah, come check it out. Vinny's doing good stuff. Hello, Miss Donnelly. How do I pronounce that, Kate? Yeah. But Mike, yeah, we talked a little off air. 24 years he's here. But to find this niche and to have such a passion, but to have your outside business, your worlds, as a Seinfeldism, your world's colliding, but in such a good way.
Yeah. It's like two gears that come together. They just fit.
Wow.
I was very, 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 very lucky. I'm very thankful to do that. And it does make going to work very, very easy every day.
I see here early, he's got his cooler. He's got his food in there. Tell me about managing this now. Your children, your family. You have a beautiful family. We're neighbors. Mike and I live close to each other. But again, your wife is running the business. You're running the business. Your kids are out and about activities. I see you on the soccer field.
Yep.
How do you manage all of that?
Realistically, a big shout out to my wife. She's supportive of my endeavors. She's supportive of the things that my kids do. When we decided that we were going to do this, Heather ended up quitting her job. We had this was the third child at that point. There was no point for her to go back to work. Her salary versus what we were paying in daycare, we were like, forget it. So she just started kind of taking on this role at the gym, and her role started as from just supporter to me, to starting to learn how to do this, then taking roles on at the gym, then becoming the manager of gym, then being a coach at the gym. So her role, it's almost like, again, things just kind of working out. My roles have kind of gone down, and she has kind of taken the lead and really basically runs the ship. Like wow. She runs the machine. Now I'm the cog in the wheel instead of, being the person that's trying to make all those decisions. And I knock on wood, I think that's probably why the business has done so well. Is she's made some decisions that have really steered the ship in a really good direction, and have made us more of a community based gym as to helping families and supporting. Like, we need a room for the kids. Oh, that's a great idea. We want to be able to offer this, and this, and really made some good decisions for the gym. So
yeah,
but it's a balance. So, my coaching schedule has gone down, so I was able to pick up a lot of roles for running kids around and taking them to their activities. And when we schedule it so when she's on staff, I'm not on staff, and things like that. And then we have a bunch of great coaches at the gym too. We're at the point where we have surrounded ourselves with really good people through trials and tribulations, but we have awesome people on the coaching staff. And when we need to, we can get shifts covered pretty easily. If a kid, something comes up, Michael went to PMEA for, the thing with Mr. Horse and chorus, and I had to, bang out, and there was no problem getting coverage, and those people allowing us to do that. So my wife being number one, being able to support all the things that we do. And things progress a little bit. My eldest one is pretty much self-sufficient. At 16, she can get to track practice and do all her stuff and take care of her stuff. And so we're a little bit blessed in that way, where not everybody has the same needs. So it's like, as they're getting a little older, their need for us to take care of them and take them everywhere has become a little less. So
should be driving soon.
Yes. So yes, she is 16. So she's going to be there pretty soon.
Yeah. Mike, so many people share their successes of CrossFit, pictures, videos, and it's a celebration. Some people might look at it and they're showing off. I look at it as this person dedicated themselves to this activity, and they're sharing that they reached this milestone, whether it's lifting this thing, running this, losing the weight, whatever it is, they share it. And I get inspiration from that. I know others might look at that social media a little differently, but you being the one to provide this avenue, you and your wife, that's got to be satisfying.
Hugely.
Forget any financial business, any of that. it's got to be satisfying that you've helped change these people's lives, impact their goals. Yeah.
Awesome.
Speak on that a little bit.
Going back to one of the business mentors and the original guys that I would have modeled my gym after, this guy by the name of Ben Bergeron. He owns CrossFit New England and has done some great things with a lot of games competitors and things like that. And he backed himself down from being a coach about trying to take people to the games, the sport of CrossFit, and trying to win the games and win money and be a part of the competitive environment.
Yeah.
He dialed it back and said the most important thing is the community and the lives that you touch. So he calls it the 10,000 foot view. If you're on your deathbed and you're looking down from the clouds and you're looking down at your dying body and you're like, what do you want people to say? You know, is in like in your list of questions, like what at the end of this, how do you want to be remembered? Whether it's retirement, it's on your deathbed, how many lives did you touch? Like, that's it. Like, if I can answer that question, and when I'm dead and I touch 10,000 lives, like, I'm okay, man. I'm good. Whether it's 72, 82, or 92, like, I'm good. Like, I live happiness and fulfillment, right? A donut will make you happy, but if you really want to be fulfilled in life, you gotta help other people, especially if you're cut from that cloth. If you're a teacher, if you're a nurse, like, you're that person that you're in the helper, you know, like, you like to help people. You generally enjoy that. Like, at the end of your life, you want to touch as many lives as possible. And that was a very self-evident truth for me that said, okay, when I'm done and this life is over, like, what do I want to have on my epitaph? What do I want to have as my, you know, my tombstone, whatever you want to call it. But it was really it. Like, this is it. I want to help people. I think we can touch a lot of lives. That what broke me, splintered me off from the other guy's gym that I worked at was that they were not out for other people. They were out for themselves.
Yeah.
Like, our gym, we are out for our people. Like, the one thing I think if you talk to any of our customers would say that, like, they are there for you. The coaches are totally invested in making you better, whatever that is. If, Andrew, you want to lift more weight, great, we got you. You want to lose weight, great, we got you. You want to look good in a bathing suit, cool, we got you. Like, and the answer for me is easy because all answers are CrossFit.
Yeah.
Like, the answer is the same. I can do all of that. That's why that part's easy for me. Like, it's like, I tell people, it's like Novocaine. Like, you just give it time, it'll work.
Yeah.
It works every time.
And I see the people, you can see the results there. Ms. Donnelly got a question there, Mike. How hard is it? I've always wondered if I could do it. My daughter wants to try, you know, so what would you say to that?
That's a great question. And it has a lot, again, it has sometimes these negative stigmas about it. The wonderful part about CrossFit is that it's infinitely scalable. So people look at these things and they automatically, they see a picture and say, oh, I can't do that thing. They don't realize what we as coaches are trained to do is to make that movement accessible to everybody. So, okay, so if you can't do this with 100 pounds, can you do this with 25 pounds? Because CrossFit is based on what's called functional movements, right? Everybody needs to do this forever. I need to put something on a shelf. So functional movements. Well, I can scale that down so that you can be successful at that. And then we start to build you up over time. Okay, we're going to do box jumps today. Mike, I can't jump on a box. Okay, can you step up? Yeah, well, I can't step up on something that high. Okay, can you step up on something this high? So if you can't do 24 inches, can you do 20 inches? I can't do 20 inches yet. Okay, can we do 12 inches? Sure. And then we meet people where they're at so that everybody can be successful. But functional movements, whether you're 80 or 8, they're the same. You need to be able to squat. You need to be able to get up off the ground. You need to be able to pick up something that's heavy, whether it's groceries or a person or a little person or an older person. One of the best compliments I ever got in my entire CrossFit career was a woman who took her mother to the doctor and the mother slipped in the parking lot. And the woman deadlifted her up. She just deadlifted her mother off the ground, got her up and got her in the car. Wow. She's like, I couldn't believe I was strong enough to do that.
Wow.
And I was like, holy light bulb, like, this is like super, super important. So Kate, that's a great question. Everything we do is infinitely scalable. We make sure that everybody is successful so that it's kind of like, if you use an educator term, it's differentiated instruction. You got to have something for the honors kids to do, but you got to have something for the low level kids to do, and they all have to be successful. And that's, I think, coaching and educating is kind of in the same, kind of pathway there. So to me, it's, again, they kind of line up. How does it work with frozen shoulders? We do a lot of mobility. So part of our warm up is we do a lot of shoulder mobilizations and squatting and hip stuff to make sure that everybody can move prior to the exercise we're going to do that day.
Mike, we got a lot of new teachers here over the past couple of years. I don't know, it's 10 plus. I mean, this year alone, I think there might have been 10 or 12. For those younger teachers, or for maybe some of our students that might be watching, some of our college kids that are thinking about a teaching career going into education, for somebody, again, 24 years here, pretty much all in the same class.
One job, one interview, one classroom, in the same spot.
All of that time, what would you offer some advice to those people that are thinking about
it? You're doing valuable work. You have to see, and sometimes it's easy to get discouraged nowadays and things like that. But you're doing something that's important, and that it will, especially early on, you won't see that for a while. Like, you're planting a seed. You may not get one really good compliment for 10 years. You're going to plant that seed, and that kid's not going to come back to you and tell you that you made an impact on their life for 10 years. Yeah. And it's funny. It's great and terrible all in the same token, but those seeds that you're planting will come back, and it is super, super beneficial. And it to me, I can't work in a cubicle. Like, I'm just not cut from that, where I can just do the same thing every day teaching. Like, really, for the most part, it's a great job. It really is. You know, they say summers and all that stuff, but put it all in the same, bucket. I'll take teaching any day.
Yeah. And it's just so great. It's so great to see you where you're at right now in your life and your career. And even what you started with about the empathetic, and you kind of almost said it here when you were describing about the weightlifting. I mean, there's kids in here that might not be able to read that chapter in that way. Well, what can you read? How can we break down this concept that maybe is challenging for you, that we could put it in a different way? So great to hear you saying that, and I'm really proud of you, and I'm really happy for you. Yeah, cool. Any other messages, Mike, for the school community or for the community at large here?
No, just like I said, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to talk about it. I don't press my business at school. I don't send out mass emails asking for people to sign up, but I'm happy to talk about anybody out there that has questions about CrossFit, fitness, nutrition. My door is always open. Literally, I love talking about it. I live it. I do it. I don't prescribe something and say, hey, you should be doing X, and I'm doing Y. Like, I follow the programming that.
Oh, you're doing the program. You can tell. He was running yesterday. He's doing it. Yeah.
It's not so easy to do all the time, but I do what I say what I do, and I try to help people along the way, I guess.
Cool. Yeah. Well, this is Mike Simmons, friends, a science teacher here. If you had Mike in class, leave him a comment. If you, again, go to the CrossFit gym, burn the ships, leave him a comment here. Mike, if Miss Donnelly's watching here, if she is curious, right? Yep. If I'm curious, I want to try it.
Yep.
Can I come down there? How does it work? How can I just try it?
Go to our website, fill out the little form that says I want to try a free trial class. I mean, Heather will be back to you instantly. We call it a no sweat intro. Literally, it's the first workout is 10 minutes. They teach you about the movements. They take you about 20 minutes through a warm up. They teach you what you're going to do. You're going to do the thing, and then you learn about what it is. So you can make an informed decision of whether or not. And there's no cost for that. It's a free trial. You try the class. Hey, Mike, I want to try it. Cool. You learn about this, this, and this. They put you through the workout. You have a little debrief after and say, okay, that was great. I want to move forward. Okay, that was terrible. I never want to do this again. Okay, cool, great. Have a great day. And that's really no sweat, very, very low impact, and it's really a nice little system.
Nice. And that website is what, Michael?
Hi, Jess. I love you. It's one of our OG originals.
There you go.
Ferrara.
Yeah. Where was that website, Mike? Where can they go?
Burntheshits.com.
Burntheshits.com. Okay. What's for lunch today?
What's for lunch?
Yeah.
Pulled pork. Slaw.
Straight pulled pork.
Yeah. No bread. Just pulled pork. Meat. Listen. Simple nutrition advice. Eat plants and animals. It'll save your life right there.
Keep it simple.
That's it. Plants and animals.
We're doing Whole30 this month here, but it's really the lifestyle.
Yeah.
I know Whole30's in the mix there.
Well, that's tough. Whole30 no sugar. That's tough.
That's tough.
That's a real tough one. But it's good. It's a good place to start.
I violated here with the breast milk, but we're in close
sugar free.
Here, so.
It's sugar free.
Miss Dolly, my favorite health food, again, trying to be healthy here, being with this guy. I'm a Honey Crisp apple and almonds. Fills me up, got some protein, got some veggies in there.
Yeah.
So how about you, Mike? What's your favorite health snack?
I hate to play the I'm a steak and potatoes kind of guy. Really. If you can give me a good ribeye, forget it. I'm happy.
Yeah.
But yeah, fruit. I like all fruit like that, and I found dry fruit for me helps a lot too. Like during the day,
Those apricots. I've been eating the apricots.
apricots, the dried mango. Walmart has the organic dried mango. It's fantastic.
Okay. Add that to the mix.
Yeah.
This is Mike Simmons' friend. Again, his business here in Port Jervis, Burn the Ships. But really a wonderful blend of that science that Mike's been teaching all those years in there, his personal life. It's all coming together in this beautiful thing and right down the block. So it's nice to see so many of our educators there, and the nutrition that you are teaching in that class. You're going to impact these people for the rest of their lives. When they're cooking, they're going to remember you. When they're eating, they're going to remember you.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
Again, same thing. What goes right along with raising children too. I know my kids don't eat that great, but I'm hoping that when they get older, that they remember what it was like, and they're like, oh, that's why my dad did that. Like that's why he was saying that.
How do you? Let me ask you this, because I'm in the same boat. I watch my kids, the donuts, and I'm like, that's not good for you. How do you, as the parent, allow that? Because we've all been there where I've eaten those donuts, and I'm like, I've been there, but that's how you learn. How do you not over parent your kids with that?
So that's a tough one. So circles of control, right? So one of the things that you learn as you go down any one of these journeys is like control what you can control, right? So at school, I can't control what they ate at school, right? We used to be in a place when we had one kid. Oh, we made her this lunch and it was great, and and then 3 kids, and then it's just not feasible.
Whatever.
It's whatever. When we're at home, we eat this. We eat X, Y. You eat what's served. We're not making anything special for you. You eat what's there. You eat healthy. Then you have what we call them sometimes foods. So sometimes you can have it. Like we don't want to say that anything is off limits or things like that unless it's like really like super toxic. But we say these are sometimes foods and we have them sometime. But we prioritize this, and this: meat, vegetables, nuts, and seeds.
I like it.
Yep.
Sometimes foods.
Sometimes foods.
It's ice cream season now.
Polar bear's open.
Baseball.
Doesn't mean I didn't notice that when the 2 ice cream shops were open.
Well, Mike, thank you for this. I know you got class coming up. Mike Simmons here on Port Center. We appreciate you, Mike, and best of luck with your business. And thanks for making a positive impact on the school and the community.
Thanks so much, man. Happy to be in here.
Yeah. Keep it up.
Absolutely.
All right, everyone.
Thanks for tuning in, anybody that was out there. I appreciate it. Thanks for all the comments, Kate.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Leave them a comment afterwards. It's on replay, Mike, and we appreciate it. Ms. Donnelly, some of your comments. We absolutely want to celebrate the arts. We've had all of the play kids on. We have a program called Port Performs. Our kids are out there doing it. Art Student of the Month. So those things are coming out there as well as all these topics. If you have a recommendation of a program, something that you want us to highlight, send it my way and we'll take a look at it, okay? We got to get this guy back to class. Thanks so much, everybody, and keep rolling. Mike, how about a go Port?
Go Port.
All right, we're going to sign off here on the program. Thanks so much, Mr. Simmons.
Absolutely.
Bye-bye, everybody.